Hey everybody, Kevin here, WQ9F. So a couple of weeks ago, I actually got this radio right here from TIDRADIO. This is their TD-H8 VHF UHF dual band analog HT, and I uploaded a couple videos on that, and I'll put a link up in the corner of the recent one that I uploaded, kind of showing how to program it and stuff like that. And I want to do a little bit more in depth, not in depth, but I wanted to go a little more into this to this radio and kind of see what it was like. Well, I was planning on doing that, and then TIDRADIO actually contacted me and sent me this, which is the TIDRADIO TD-H8. So I'm going to take a look at the one they just sent me, and I just got this in the mail probably, I don't know, last weekend, so I had it sitting for a couple days. They only sent me the radio body, so I'm actually going to take the stuff off of this, to the antenna, the battery pack, and I'm going to fire this one up and see what it's like. Check the description down below for more information about this radio, and I'll put a link to where you can get this radio as well. And if you want to see the last video I made, I'll put a link up in the corner. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you aren't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you see more videos just like this one. I also have a Buy Me a Coffee, and I'll put a link down below. If you want to help support the channel that way through a donation, it would be much appreciated. But for now, let's check this, let's transfer the parts over and check this radio out. So in the last video, I went through how to save some channels, because I think that's super important to know how to do. And so here I have the 2 meter calling frequency, the 440 calling frequency, and this is the local repeater that I spend pretty much most of my time either monitoring or talking on. This is the North Shore Radio Club UHF repeater. Now, on here, if I hit menu and I scroll up to number 42, I can see that it says version ham 230317. So this is the old one that they sent me. So I'm going to go ahead and move all this stuff over to the new one, and let's take a look at the new one. All right, so this is the same radio. This is the, I assume, new radio that they're shipping now. Go ahead and pull the best part off here. Pull our little plastic piece off. I know some people leave this stuff on, but I enjoy taking it off. So I went ahead and switched over the antenna and the battery, and let's go ahead and turn this thing on and see what happens. So right off the bat, well, we're back on voice mode. But if I turn this off and turn it back on again, the open screen here has changed a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit menu. If I come here to menu 45, this now says ham, and it says 230823, so I'm guessing this is the newest version of, I guess, their firmware, I'm guessing. 2023, I'm going to guess August 23rd, so we have a pretty recent firmware on this radio. So I went ahead and switched it to FM mode, and this is a bit concerning because 91.5 FM, which I have it on right now, this is WBEZ. This is the NPR station here in the Chicagoland area. Their broadcast site isn't too far away from my house, you know, from where I live, being that I live in Chicago. I
open on 19 news with this video.
I really have to, like,
thing about the video.
Yeah.
In the video, I asked one of my colleagues, a neurosurgeon in our team,
move it around. You can see
what this work can be in the future. What could happen
if I lay this down, I pretty much lose.
You can use this thing to have machines work
If it's sitting up here, receive is fine.
It kind of ends gloriously with the future and fade out.
You can see it's got good volume on it, which is really nice.
I saw your video.
But
And I want to know
if I lay this down right in the position I had it in before, I pretty much lose the station. So actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this antenna off, take the battery out, So right now, the only difference between these two radios is one has the clip on the back. Put the antenna on. Turn this on. Same position, I'm receiving this station better on this radio, the older radio, than on the newer radio. And like I said, the only difference here is, so standing up here in the same position, it was fine. And this is the old radio. If I go ahead and lay it back down here, lay it back down here, you can see that I'm still receiving a little bit of static, but this radio, the other radio, is pretty much nothing. So that's a little concerning. All right, I know one thing that was a concern for some people, and they actually talked to me about. They sent in an email, said if I reported any issues with when transmitting and touching the battery contacts, being feeling anything from it, warming up or anything. I don't. I mean, I guess when I hold the radio, I don't have the battery contacts close to my hand. I kind of, I guess you can't see, but I kind of cup the radio a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and transmit. I'm just on the 440 calling frequency. I am on high power, and I'm pushing this up against the back here. Transmitting on high power, which is 10 watts, 10 advertised watts, and I don't feel anything with this pushed up against the back of my hand. It's not getting warmed up. I'm not getting shocked or anything like that, so no concern there. I know that was something that was brought up. Someone asked me, and then I also, like I said, TID Radio reached out and asked if I experienced anything like that, and the way I hold my radio, I wouldn't, but I've got this right up against my hand, holding it here now, and nothing here, so no issues there. So you may notice the screen is much brighter now because I'm sitting outside on my patio. I'm sure you can hear the cicadas going behind me, ready for them to go back onto their sleep cycle. It's a beautiful September day, so I'm sitting outside still. I put a light on my camera here to make things a little bit easier to see. Now I do want to test the power output of this radio because it's advertised as a 10 watt power output, and I want to see if it's actually doing 10 watts. And then see what it's doing on medium and low power as well, because honestly, the idea of 10 watts being so close to my head while I'm transmitting, I don't know that I'm 100% fan of. Now this radio here, it says it's charged battery. I had it on the charger for probably about an hour. I don't know that it's fully charged, but it's probably pretty close. Well, at least it's saying close here. So I am loaded up on 14652, and we can see the H right here in the middle. I have this connected to my Surecom SW102. And then this is a 25 watt dummy load connected here onto this. This is a VHF UHF power meter, and I'll put a link in the description to where I got this on Amazon. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. Now up here in the top corner is where it will read the power output. And I'm currently on 14652 on high power, so let's go ahead and hit this. 8.9 watts. Again, not fully charged battery, but 8.9 watts is honestly pretty high, I think. You can see here we got that number, 8.9 watts. And that's my SWR reading right there. So 8.9. So I'm going to go ahead and punch up 4460. So I'm put on UHF high power. I'm going to go ahead and test out my power output here. It'll be up here in the top corner. 5 watts, so not quite the 10 watts we were hoping for. Even though you can see it's hitting the 10, I assume that means that they're expecting it to be doing 10. But 5 watts on power output on UHF, which honestly to me a little more reasonable. And honestly, most of the time when I see a VHF, UHF like an HT like this, UHF is usually a little bit lower anyways, but not half power low. So I'm going to go back to 14652. I'm going to click menu. Menu item number 2 is my transmit power, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this to mid. See what my output power is on mid. 3.43 watts on VHF. Let's go ahead and turn this to low. 1.79 watts, which those numbers are much more in line with like if I had a 5 watt HT, like that any Secu radio that I have a review coming up for. This has roughly the same power output I was getting on mid and low power on that radio. So I'm going to go ahead and 4460 again. Let's turn this to mid power for UHF. 3.9 watts roughly. We got that up there. I'm going to go ahead and turn this to low power. Yep, low power. Low power UHF, about 2 watts. So low power and mid power are pretty consistent. High power though on VHF, I was getting about 9 watts. UHF, I was only getting 5 watts. Let's try that once more. So let's go back. Transmit power high. 4460. Yeah, 5.15 watts. So all in all, not too bad for saying it's a 10 watt radio. We're getting 9 watts pretty much on VHF, about 5.1 on UHF. But you know, numbers are numbers. Who knows? Maybe my cable's eating up some of that. Like I said, I charged this. It's not 100%. Like the green light didn't come on the battery, but it says full battery here, so it's pretty close. Started the video in daytime mode, ended it in nighttime mode. All right, so what's my conclusion on this radio here? Well, the TIDRADIO TD-H8. One of my favorite things about this is honestly the form factor. I think that's kind of important to me. A radio with a good feel and a good heft, fits in your hand, is pretty important to me. The other nice thing I like about this radio is it's fairly easy to use, and that includes, I've got one more video coming up. This radio is Bluetooth programmable through an app, which is kind of a game changer almost. That app allows you to look up local repeaters and stuff like that, and just send them via Bluetooth right over to your memory. That's kind of a pretty big deal. The USB-C charging, super nice. The loudspeaker, great to have. The nice screen, it's easy to read. I like the color screen with the dark background, super nice. It has a good speaker on it, which I appreciate because when I'm using my radio, it's normally in my car. I don't have a mobile radio in my vehicle. I carry an HT with me. And so on my drive to work and stuff like that, I'll have my HT sitting in a cup holder or something like that, kind of near me in the vehicle. And being able to have a nice loud radio, as I really enjoy that. And that's kind of a selling feature for me. Radios with low audio on them, it's kind of a deal breaker. So we're getting almost the 10 watts out. I'm going to charge the battery a little more and check it again at a later time, see if it's actually 10 watts. I can key up my repeater though. I can hear traffic on the calling frequency, which is honestly, that's where I spend most of my time anyways, is going to be monitoring my local repeaters and things like that. I haven't had any problems with people saying that my transmit audio is dirty or that it's unintelligible or anything like that. So transmit audio is good. So the nice thing about this is, one of the nice things that I like about this is the battery. The USB-C charging is really kind of nice because, like I said, I carry this to work with me, so I can just plug this in at my desk during the day and just let it charge if I need to. But it's got a 2800 milliamp hour battery, which is already going to last me a pretty long time. So I don't have to worry about charging this all that often. If you have this radio, let me know what you like about it. Is this like a go-to radio for you? You can get this right now on Amazon. I believe the price is $62.99, and I'll put a link down below. And I think the last I looked, Amazon had like a little check mark, for a 20% off coupon. So let me know what you think of this radio if you have it, or if you buy one and use it. Put it in the comments. Let me know. I'd be interested to hear what you say. Until next time, check out my next video. I'll have coming up with the Bluetooth programming for this via app. It's going to be kind of cool because I don't have another radio that's like that right now. So until next time, 73.